Hey, welcome back to Sessions with System and Soul. We are so glad you're joining us. It means a lot to us that you would spend your time with us and just learn what we're trying to learn as we go and lead and help others do the same. I'm Mackenzie and I'm here with Benj. And today we have a what we call a soul dive. A soul dive is, I mean, it is what it sounds like. It's it's looking at kind of the inside of your mind, the inside of your heart, and how it affects your business, because those things are not mutually exclusive. As much as we might want to believe that, the heart of the leader affects the business more than anything. So, today is about giving you space to think about that, space to process some of the emotional side of leadership, the philosophical side of leadership, the identity side of leadership. So, that's what we're doing today. And we couldn't do it without Fist Bump. Fist Bump is our content creator. They help us bring this show to you. So if you are trying to build some kind of content engine, I could not recommend them more. Get fistbump.com and let's jump in, Benj. Let's get to it. So today we're talking about there's a couple things we're hitting on here, but there's the idea of abundance and
Yeah.
there's a gap that's created when we don't have it. So tell me what you have in mind today.
Well, your setup was perfect because this is something that is kind of vulnerable to me. I've had to learn the hard way. Um, to give you some context, if you know anything about Enneagram, I'm an Enneagram 5. There are 9 types on the Enneagram, but one of the things that the Enneagram 5 struggles with is what they call hoarding. And so it's like the way they describe it is a constant conscious or subconscious awareness of our battery in life, and it's our battery of resources, whether that's time or money or material things, whatever. It's like when I look at my calendar at the beginning of the day, my instinct is like, do I have enough to make it through the day? Like I'm weighing my battery. I have this much energy, especially as an extreme introvert. That one's a big one for me. Is like just my energy through the day of what the day demands. If it requires a lot of, anything social, it's like, oh, that's going to be a big drain. I'm going to need a lot of recovery. But it's actually a lie. But it's like almost like a hardwired lie that I've had to like really, really work to overcome. And a lot of it comes back to this idea that you set up of like, what is my mindset coming in? Because a battery is a great analogy of a scarcity mindset. There is only so much.
Yeah.
I have to protect it. I have to be really careful who has access to it. And so, to set this up, like, think about abundance and scarcity on like a spectrum. We're not like 100% one or 100% another. And it's not like you're this and I'm this. It's like at any given day, at any given moment, we're somewhere on that spectrum between abundance and scarcity. And the scarcity is saying there is not enough. Like it's just that's the mindset, scarcity. There's not enough,
Where I'm
which mean oh
oh,
yeah, absolutely. We can go there.
line,
We can
there's
go there. That's part of it. That's part of the scarcity mindset for sure. But if your mind says there isn't enough, then the reaction is I have to get more or I have to protect what I have. Right. So now we talk about a scarcity mindset, but what does that do? It makes us act out of, show up in a leadership scenario or in our life or whatever with I have to protect and I have to get what's mine or I have to get more or I have to whatever. So if we step over to the other side of that, we talk about the abundance mindset. The abundance mindset says, I have so much. I have so much, which sometimes I make myself say that. And it feels like I do not feel like that. I do not feel like I have so much, whatever the category is. Right. But then you make yourself, this is where gratitude's huge. If I go, whoa, wait. I actually do have so much. I have so much. I have so much of what actually matters. And you have to know what those are. And we could talk about a gratitude practice or whatever. But what that makes you do when you have so much, the question becomes the problem, the action becomes, I have to give. I have so much I have to give. We go from what I have to get or protect to I have to give. You think about, if we think about this in very, very little literal terms, you've got Bill and Melinda Gates, right? They have so much. So they had to create this foundation, and it's actually a problem how much they have to give away. because it becomes hard to do that responsibly, right? But you're acting out of this abundance. I have to give it away. So you've got the gap. If you're on the scarcity side, you've got the gap between where you are and what you think you need, where you are and where you want to be. And if you're there, you're just always acting out of that scarcity mindset. If you come over to the abundance mindset with I have so much, now you're acting out of the gain. And the best way to do that is to look backwards. The gap's looking forward. Where am I versus where I wanted to be, where I think I should be, where I whatever want to be in the future. The gain says, look at where I am from last year, how much I've grown,
Yeah.
how much, this and this and this and this. And so if you focus on that, is absolutely huge. I'll give you a very silly example because I'm really proud of it. But I could sit here and go, man, I'm struggling to lose like 5% body fat, which I've been trying to do, maybe not trying hard enough for the last 6 months. I could sit there and do that. But like yesterday, I hit a PR on my deadlift. I'm 46 years old and hit a personal record on my deadlift. I'm like, okay, I've been working and it's showing up.
Yeah, that's a great example, and I think I've seen that as you talk through this. I see that in our business, and this happens. This conversation, the scarcity abundance dilemma, I feel like happens every time. Not every time. I shouldn't say every time, but it happens at times when we look at our cash flow or we look at our financial docs, and we're like, we've been, the conversation goes one of two ways, I think, depending on our mindset. We're either like, we're not where we want to be, or this quarter didn't go the way that we wanted it to. We don't look like X organization. We're not moving at the rate of X, or we come in and we're like, that was 20% growth year over year. Like, that's pretty great. Like,
Yeah.
But I feel like it's totally just us. The numbers are not different. The numbers are the same, and it's how we come into it and look at it. And I think specifically the way that that's impacted us as I look at our business is like, if we're always thinking we're not where we want to be, the numbers don't look the way we want them to, we don't have enough yet, it has not helped us make good decisions to go get more and do the right things. It just, like you said, we just hoard what we have, and we're like, well, we can't, use this budget for anything new. We've got to hold on to it in case anything goes wrong, but we're also not making decisions that help us expand or grow.
Right.
In that mindset. So I definitely see that, like, even when it comes to those conversations.
Yeah. It's like that scarcity mindset. We think we're protecting, we think we're getting, but it's really working against us. We're working against ourselves. But it also shows up in, like, you and I had a very real exchange last week or the week before where an exchange. We're getting real now. But you brought something to me, and I had a late flight the night before, got in super early. I had gotten bad news twice from two different people within the last 24 hours. Very emotional, and
I was asking something of you. I was like,
I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, I'm like, I need you to give me X, and
my space was like, I wasn't this aware to just say that and fix my brain and come back and help you, but like, I was anti-helpful because I was trying to protect myself because I didn't feel like I have anything in my tank. I don't even remember how I reacted, but I did not serve you or the problem well because I was acting out of my scarcity mindset.
well, I mean, just to give everybody, I think, has run into this. So we'll just, if you don't mind, I'm just going to describe the exchange here. Like,
The exchange.
A new word for conflict. The exchange started with it. Maybe there's a portion of that I was acting out of scarcity, of like, I'm not getting enough from Benj right now, and so I reached out to you in a way that was kind of, that put you on the defensive. But I reached out, timing did not work well for where you were at and your scarcity mindset, and so the outcome of our exchange, or we kind of clashed, and you were like, hey, like, I can't deal with this right now, was kind of like the vibe I got. And then I got like, you have to deal with it. Like, we have to get this done. And then we spent, for everybody here, like, we worked it out because that's what we're going to do. And these things are going to happen. These conversations are going to happen. But what I would say is it took the time and energy of a couple of days of us
Yeah.
having to work it out to get past the scarcity mindset. And it's a necessary thing, but I want to point out, like, that took a lot of time and energy for us to deal with the scarcity mindset. So
Yeah.
I think the question for all of us is, like, where are we expending more time than necessary because we're living in this scarcity, like, there's not enough, this person's
Yeah.
not doing enough, we don't have enough yet. Like, think about how many, like, negative calories that burns in your brain every day. And I mean, I struggle with that because as the operator, I feel like I see all of the resources and I have to manage them. And so I'm,
Yeah.
like, constantly taking inventory of,
Yeah.
like, do we have enough over here? Are we doing enough over here? And so, like, I say that to say, like, I empathize with people who struggle getting out of that mindset, but I'm just recognizing how limiting it can be and how time consuming it is.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great example, because if we go back to the battery concept, like, we think we're protecting it, but we're actually using more. You're expending the battery by the way that we're showing up, by the way that we're dealing with the situation, holding back the team, all of those things. There's a couple other mindsets that go to it. Like, scarcity is a greed mindset versus abundance is a gratitude mindset, which is actually the quickest one to shift. Like, if you're feeling the scarcity, to go to the gratitude bucket, and that flips the switch pretty quick. I've found that people, maybe this is or isn't part of your job, but in the scarcity mindset, we feel like we have to sell,
Mm,
and in an abundance mindset, we feel like we get to serve.
that is
Uh,
that in particular is so huge, in especially when I think about business development. And, like, the way that you show up in that is so, like, even if you're not saying anything, like, it's how you show,
right.
people sense it. They're like, "Oh my gosh, they're gonna try to sell me," rather than,
Yeah.
"I'm here to help." Like,
Yeah.
it's just a very obvious thing when it's in play.
Totally. Scarcity mindset says I must. Like, there's a pressure and a weight. I must do this. I must be that. I must accept. Blah blah blah. It's, all this expectation and pressure. And an abundance mindset comes in and says, I am. I am. I'm enough. I'm here. I'm present. It's rooted in an identity,
Yeah.
and a place of confidence that you can walk in with whatever, however much preparation, however much expertise, however much whatever, and you're just it just is. I am. So that's entering with a place of abundance. Then there's a bunch of places where, like, this is like ethereal kind of conversation to a lot of people, but if you take it, like, down to the practical, like, when you show up as a leader, when you show up to lead a team, when you manage your team's resources, when you think about your clients, when you think about your energy, when you think your value to the world around you, to your enterprise, when you think about how you price your fees for your products or services, your relationships, your opportunities, your activities, all of these, we could almost, like, put the scale down on a piece of paper and say, hey, when I think about the impact that I have in the world, where does it go on the scale? When I think about how my approach toward pricing, am I coming from a scarcity mindset or an abundance mindset? Like, all of those things, we could actually sit down and do a little exercise where we're plotting even your self-worth. Like, where am I showing up out of my self-worth, on a scarcity mindset or on abundance mindset? And that energy is part of that, who you are when you show up to the room, which is maybe back to the battery thing. Because, like, if you're operating out of a full battery, then you've got a lot of energy to give to the world around you. And if we're operating with the illusion that our battery's on empty, it's turning yellow or red, then we're in conservation mode, and we're not doing ourselves a favor, and we're not doing the world around us a favor.
Yeah, that's so true. Two things come to mind. You probably heard that, the saying, "Don't believe everything you think." I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like in order to move out of that scarcity mindset into the abundance mindset, there's this like the pause of, is what I'm thinking true? Does the battery really exist here? Or
Yeah.
is this an artificial, an artificial thought that's here to trying to protect me in some way? Just to be honest, like an example of this like comes to me from just even yesterday. Doing this show is such a vulnerable thing for, I know, for both of us, because it's hard to talk about stuff that's as it's happening, or we want to bring something great to the table for everybody who subscribes and listens to this. And at times when you're creating content, it's like, do people care? Like, does anybody listen to this? Like, you can't help but think that. And there's also like, why would anybody listen to me? Like, I can't tell you how many people are like, I've talked with in our community, our coach community and business community. They're like, I just don't think I have anything important to say. And
That's how I feel. I feel like all this has been said. I'm just reiterating what I learned from somebody else or read somewhere else. So like that's the one that goes through my mind all the time. It's like nobody needs another talking head to say these things.
yeah, and I think you can apply that to any kind of industry or business. It's like you could sit in that mindset of like, who really needs that? I don't have anything new to give there. And then I needed this yesterday, but like I had a conversation with somebody who's like 25 years old and learning how to lead and learning how to show up well in her role. And it meant she reached out to me and wanted to just like learn more and like get some advice. And it's because she was watching our show and like paying attention. And I like, if I lived in that scarcity mindset, I would never have done or said any of the things that she needed,
Yeah.
And when I have that mindset, it helps me think like, no, we've got to show up. We've got to do this. We got to give this away. We've got to say the thing that we think has been said 1,000 times. And that's encouragement for everybody, because there's somebody out there that needs what you've got going on and what you're doing. And you may be limiting yourself if you think your battery's too low to give it.
Here's the thing. If I go back to, I'll just leave with this and the Enneagram 5 thing that really helped me bring a lot of this to my awareness is because with the Enneagram, they say it's the mask that you picked up to deal with the chaos and complexity of the world, but it's not your truest self. The mask is the lie. And so what that means is that it truly is a choice how we get to show up in life. And when I remember that, when I take the time, like when I click the button to log into a Zoom, or when I'm riding the elevator up to a meeting or driving to a meeting, if I can remember to ask myself how I want to show up, then it just brings this awareness. And then I get to have the conversation. Am I going to show up like this, or am I going to show up like this? And you can literally make the choice. And it's not a fake it till you make it. It's not. It's really just deciding that you're going to bring all of who you are to every moment that it's asked of you. And I don't always win, but I'm trying. I'm on the journey. This is my journey.
Yeah, it's almost like just creating the habit of leaning in the other direction.
Yep. Yep.
Well, it's
Good
been
combo.
great combo. I feel like I needed this today just to think. I'm thinking, what is this day going to take from me? And now I need to think, what can I give to my day?
Yeah.
What is it going to give back? So,
Yeah.
I hope that you guys are walking away with something that helps encourage you and lean more into that abundance mindset. Thank you guys for joining us. We will see you next time for another episode of Sessions.